that was the type of stuff that we finally started hearing about when people would open up.
Mm-hmm. And when John and I were both at Walmart, he was in sporting goods and I was next door in electronics, and they knew what we did. We had people coming to the store to talk to one of us to tell us they'd like for us to come check it out sometime. And we would try to make as much time as possible to go out. But it really was amazing that they didn't want to talk to anybody that wasn't local. And of course, John lived there in Lamar County. I'm 30 minutes away, but that's my son, and that's people they'd go to. They knew him best would come to him. They knew me best, they'd come to me. We'd compare notes and decide what day we could get together and go out and look. And we learned a long time ago, you don't go by yourself.
Right.
And I started doing that, or I had no problem going by myself. Mm-hmm. I'm one of those guys that, hell, I'm a hunter, I'm a fisherman. I deer hunt by myself. Why should I worry about Bigfoot hunting myself? Then we got this bright idea. This was back in our early days of actually trying to document stuff. We thought, let's put something out there that's curious. Maybe we can get some kind of fingerprint or something. So we hung the CDs, just trying to see what we could get. Well, I went out to check them. My dad was watching my daughter, who was a little fart at the time. I walked on out to the woods, told me so about 5 minutes. Waited back there. Got almost to where it was, and something came crashing out of the brush on the trees. Turned around. Strolled out. I'm looking back over my shoulder. I get up. I hit that. Walking up there, and I got there. I said, I ain't going back out there by myself. Somebody's going to have to hold my hand.
That's right.
But his name was Pepper, and when I whistled, it sounded like I was saying Pepper.
Right. Uh-huh.
Well, in the woods behind our house one night, I'd let him out to use the bathroom, and I'm standing there. That whistle comes out of the woods, and my dog starts going towards me.
You're like, no, wrong whistle.
No.
That's kind of like that.
He turns and looks, starts walking back to me, and out of the woods again.
That's funny.
I looked around in the driveway, I grabbed a rock and slung it where the whistle came from, and I said, stop it!
Don't confuse my dog. That's funny.
No, back then, there was a family group that kind of stayed fairly close, because it definitely was rural housing. There's like 4 houses on there, and then 400 acres of woods and creek right directly between there and the next line of houses.
Right.
And then on the north end, there's about 100 acre of woods, and then it swung around over here on this 800 acres. And they just kind of hung around in there during deer season. Nobody hunted it. Deer season was over, they'd move out.
Yeah.
Deer season rolls back, they move back in. And it was like that for several years. And they'd whistle, trying to get the dogs. They'd come into the backyard.
Did anybody ever lose any dogs?
All the time.
We ran
As a matter of fact, we started keeping track of it going through the newspaper, just flip to the lost and found.
Right.
And start going through that area. And there was like 10 dogs a week listed as missing.
The thing that got our attention, and it was big. What was it, 2 or 3?
3 of them. There's a guy, his family owned a paving company, had highway contracts and stuff. Well, he had some high dollar registered cattle, and he started having some come up missing, so he microchipped them, where they can GPS every cow. And he had some come up missing.
He had reward in the paper.
Had rewards in the paper, had the GPS going. No GPS tracer ever found. Nothing.
Wow.
And I mean, they like walked off of the face of the planet. I mean, these things are based on the life of the battery, you know, and it's a real long life chip.
Yeah.
They dial it up and bam, it activates. They never could find them. And the Selborns, he had told all the Selborns about it, so they would, any of the registered cattle came in, they checked the chips. And none ever went through any sales. They just disappeared.
Wow.
They were pretty good size. We're talking about it. The cattle he was raising, mature female cow, knocking 1,000 pounds easy. And it wasn't like all three of them disappeared at once. It was like one, and then a month later another one. 2 months later the third one.
We even found where one was so skilled at imitation, they imitated a crippled creature and got him a black bear.
And I mean, you could follow the story. I've been tracking since I was a kid. But you could follow the story. You could see his impression dragging right foot. Step, drag, and you could follow the black bear where it came in behind him, leaving tracks about like that.
Wow.
It's stalking what it thought was an injured creature.
Right.
Then all of a sudden you see the creature's tracks go into a clump of 2 or 3 trees. You see the black bears there, and they're kind of spinning around a little bit. You see the ground tore up.
One more.
From this clump of trees, you see it come out. There is no
you just put it on that
limb.
side.
And then you find
No, one more
claw
to the
marks
leaves.
up the tree
Put
where
it on
the
that
bear
side
tried
over
to
there.
go up
To get away,
and got
yeah.
pulled right back
Oh,
down.
yeah.
No hide nor hair.
Oh, my.
One of the other lovely animal stories
Carried
through
away,
tracks.
taken back to the troop to feed them.
One of the other ones that we found, and it's one of the best stories through tracks that I've ever found, was finding these tracks. A mother and an infant. And when I say an infant,
Footprint no bigger than that.
this
Wow.
is the size of the
Wow,
track.
that is.
We have the picture somewhere of the cigarette pack laying in the creek next to the track with a 1/2 inch of water in it. And that is the track. Coming up the creek from the other direction are hog tracks. Suddenly you find where the hog dug in, where its feet braced, and where it tore back to charge. And then you find a massive rip out, and then no hog tracks. 50 yards away,
Gone.
there's a hog skull
Oh, man.
with the left eye socket broke from here to here on the snout, completely crushed.
Crushed the skull.
Lower jaw is in 3 pieces. Here, and then the first break here.
You reckon
Second
they
break
used a
here.
rock or something, or did they just their pin?
I never found.
Who knows?
I never found a rock.
Either one.
I never found the hand where it could use a hand.
Yeah,
But I
they'll-
know it grabbed hold, and based on the size of the skull on the hog, it grabbed a 250-pound hog and beat it to death by all the cords.
Yeah.
When we found the skulls that went to the bone splay and everything else, all the same condition. Side of the head, the ocular cavity is completely crushed,
Right.
jawbone broken.
Right.
And it's been like that on every one of them
Every
we found
found,
like that.
yeah.
No entry wound and no explosive exit wound like a bullet,
Obviously,
high-speed bullet.
it's killing it by crushing their head.
It's either very low-speed projectile, somewhere 100 mile an hour or in
That's
that
why I said
range,
rock.
or just flat-out crushing.
Yeah.
It's not like somebody had stuck one with an arrow. One of the skulls we actually cut into to see, because we could hear a little bit of a rattle. Turned out the rattle was a rock that had got stuck in there just as it decayed.
Yeah.
But we thought, maybe somebody stuck one with an arrow. That'd be an explanation, so we cut into it.
Yeah.
No, it's just a rock.